I don't know about you lads, but the Suicide Squad game is raising way too many red flags. It's meant to be a sequel to the Arkham series, but it's this looter shooter game and there's this whole payment system and microtransactions and that's not gonna go very well with modern gamers.
We've got to have money.
And then you have these plot retcons which completely ruin what the Arkham series had set up.
I think I can smell
Like, completely ruining the reputation of the late Kevin Conroy, establishing the Justice League before they got to be properly introduced, as well as completely retconning certain events from Batman Arkham Knight, such as bringing back the Joker again. Okay, I can understand it's not the same Joker, but there's also that whole thing with Poison Ivy being turned into a child?
Yes, I can definitely smell
It just feels like it's undoing all the brilliantness that the Arkham series had set up, and I think a lot of players feel the same way.
Alright, I gotta leave, okay?
John, we just started. Come on, man.
Listen, there's a lot to see in this life. Not wasting it here.
So, I thought I'd make this video just to say that I highly recommend all 4 of the Batman Arkham games. Just play them all over again as an alternative to the Suicide Squad game. Because honestly, I would highly endorse the Batman Arkham series as opposed to the Suicide Squad games. Why? Well, let me tell you. Prior to Batman Arkham Asylum, the first game in the franchise, there had been many video game installations which adapted the Batman stories. Of course, you would have your movie tie-ins, as well as some tie-ins to some cartoon shows and whatnot, but most if not all of them revolved around beat-em-ups and just the traditional heroic fare. That was until Batman Arkham Asylum came along. Now, this game could have easily have just been a Dark Knight cash-in and the game makers would have just called it a day. But instead, they went above and beyond to not only make a Batman game, but to make a love letter to the franchise as a whole. With this kind of passion and dedication to every detail of this game and its sequels, this video game franchise would go on to be one of the most highly beloved adaptations of the Batman franchise ever made, being appraised along the likes of Batman the Animated Series, the aforementioned Dark Knight, Tim Burton's Batman, Batman Under the Red Hood, and arguably Matt Reeves' Batman. So what was it about Batman Arkham Asylum that was so different from all the other Batman games at the time? Keep in mind, this didn't just revolutionize superhero gaming to elevate the Spider-Man games of today. This also revolutionized the action-adventure genre, blending various aspects of beat-em-up, stealth, Metroidvania, open world, so on and so forth. So what was it about Batman Arkham Asylum that was so unique compared to other Batman games at the time? Well, first and foremostly, Batman Arkham Asylum did something that many of the other Batman games didn't. Not even Lego Batman was able to achieve this. The game uses interactivity to actually make you feel like you're Batman. You're not just beating up thugs all the time. You're living up to other reputational titles of Batman as well. You're the most feared crusader in Gotham City, as it allows you to go through stealth segments where you take down enemies one at a time quietly, causing nearby enemies to fear you. That's very Batman. The game also allows you to investigate several areas with Batman's highly advanced scanners and technology, using his scanning system. This detective mode, if you will, harkens back to Batman's original career as, well, a detective in the Detective Comics. So needless to say, this was added immersion not just for casual gamers, but also to dedicated Batman fans. They got some brilliant talent from the same people who created Batman the Animated Series, even having some familiar voice actors reprise their roles and bring the writing and voice acting talent to the pinnacle of their careers with this game series. With Batman Arkham Asylum, the vast majority of players agree that this game has the most immersive atmosphere. It's quite a wild ride, and it definitely helps you get into the shoes of the confident, inspirational superhero that is Batman. And then just when you thought Batman Arkham Asylum reached its peak, Batman Arkham City amplified everything to 11. Yes, Batman Arkham Asylum was great, but it had its few share of flaws, especially the final boss battle in Arkham Asylum. Arkham City fixed a lot of those problems. Sure, it didn't have the same exact kind of immersive atmosphere as Arkham Asylum did, but it more than made up for that with a very gripping story, a more open world, improved sense of exploration, improved, more fluid combat, more immersive boss fights, a wider variety of methods to take down your enemies in combat and in stealth segments, so much more extras to unlock, some more playable characters, each with their own quirks and abilities. There is so much that Arkham City has been able to provide for the franchise, and people, to this day, consider Arkham City not only the best in the entire franchise, but also one of the greatest video games ever made. That's a high standard as far as superhero games are concerned. Yeah, some people could argue that the story was kind of muddled, but honestly, the many ways it does work so well that a lot of people will be willing to overlook those errors. The way the game handles the relationship between Batman and the Joker. The boss fight between Batman and Mr. Freeze, which is deemed a really clever boss fight.
Freeze is attacking me. Get me the telemetry feed from his suit, now.
No problem. Bruce, remember what happened last time. Don't try to take him on in a straight-up fight. He's too powerful. Okay, data's ready. Coming through now.
Boom!
That's one tactic down.
That will not happen again.
I can't use the gargoyles. He's frozen that up. I'll try this tactic.
No.
No, get him, get him.
You cannot hide in cold. This world, your actions betray your position.
All the plot twists, all the heroic moments, and that shocking ending, which I won't give away for anyone who's new to the series. It's easy to see why Arkham City can stand side by side with the likes of Metal Gear Solid 3 or Halo 3 or something. The other two games in the franchise may not have reached the peak that Arkham City was able to achieve, but more and more people have grown to warm up to these games as time went by. I am of course referring to Batman Arkham Origins and Batman Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Origins is a prequel to the entire series, and fans agree that Arkham Origins has the best variety of boss fights, even though it does have a fairly repetitive map design, whilst Arkham Knight offers the most immense, expansive open world with Batman being able to explore the entirety of Gotham, except for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, with the Batmobile and his gliding, and some new ways to explore the city. In terms of gameplay, people really appreciate Batman Arkham Knight. To this day, there are channels dedicated to various stealth techniques regarding Batman Arkham Knight. And of course, just look at those graphics, man. I mean, this is top quality cinematic stuff. Now, they would try to replicate this kind of immersion with Gotham Knights, but that game was very poorly received. The games I'm recommending are mainly Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Origins, and Batman Arkham Knight. The Batman Arkham series, particularly the 4 games that are being mentioned here, were the ones that offered the most immersion. The ones that offered the best sense of interactivity with the Dark Knight himself. The one that offers a surprisingly brilliant variety of combat, stealth, and detective work. Whilst the gameplay and certain control mechanics have improved with each new installment, even as far back as Arkham Asylum, the control scheme has been brilliantly designed to be easy to learn yet hard to master, which means playing harder difficulties makes for a much more rewarding experience. Ow. Come on! Go!
No, wait! Happen! Come on! Oh, you can. Oh, you don't have to type it twice. You can literally just tap it. I did not know you could do that. Come on! Run! Come! Why did you not do it? Come on! Why, Batman? Why don't you counterattack? Why don't you counter? Why aren't you counterattacking? Why aren't you? Yes! Yes! Thank the Lord! Thank the Holy Trinity! Yes! 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 Yes!
Which means that playing harder difficulties can be very rewarding if you're willing to go through with it. And even as far back as Arkham Asylum, the game offered a fair variety of extra challenges, whether it be hunting down the Riddler trophies, the Riddler puzzles, as well as the extra options for extra stealth challenges and combat challenges outside of the main game itself. The game would also offer a variety of characters to choose in each installment. Of course, as highly praised as the Batman Arkham series is, it does have a fair share of flaws. As well crafted and immersive as the story of the Arkham series is, there's definitely moments, whether in gameplay or narrative, where it dips in quality. With Arkham Asylum, the biggest flaw is that final boss fight, which kind of contradicts the Joker's characteristics of being more of a manipulative kind of character. Even if fans were more willing to have Joker be in that Titan form at the end of the game, the boss fight itself is very anticlimactic on a mechanical basis, because it doesn't really offer much of a challenge compared to the previous fight you just had. Arkham City has little to no flaws at all. People might argue the story's a wee bit chaotic, and Catwoman is almost not really necessary in the grand scheme of things when it comes to her contributions to the plot, but I think people can even overlook that because there is a crucial story moment in which Catwoman has to decide whether to get out of the city with money or go back and save Batman. So, for that reason, her side story is worth it. Arkham Origins does have a repetitive map design, but there are still many plot elements that are still very immersive, especially during one segment that pays homage to Batman the Killing Joke. As for Arkham Knight, people have a lot of gripes with that game, namely in the fact that it has one of the most obvious plot reveals of a character ever, especially for those who are familiar with the source material, and there's a few other anticlimactic character moments, especially with Two-Face. Come on, Gotham is at its Armageddon moment and all you're doing is robbing banks? Come on, man. Although, the game does more than make up for that with one of the best pieces of interactive storytelling I've ever seen. I've seen people be convinced that video games can be a form of art with unique narratives that are exclusive in their ability to tell stories on an interactive basis. And the finale of Batman Arkham Knight definitely proves that, with a boss fight that's much more psychological than it is a traditional fist fight. Yeah, it doesn't really test many of your skills that you've built up as Batman throughout the campaign, but the story is just so engrossing, the interactivity works. And again, I'm not going to give it away, but it delves into the psychology of Batman and Joker in such a profound way that it just makes perfect sense, not just for the game series, but the entire franchise as a whole. It's just such a brilliantly handled moment. Even if Kevin Conroy doesn't quite deliver that "I am the Night" line as well as he did in the animated series, I'm willing to forgive that. So, overall, despite its few setbacks, I would highly endorse Batman, the Arkham series, for any Batman fan, any gamer, and anyone who just loves a good story with good acting, good writing, good heroics, just good quality stuff all around. Please, do yourself a favor, rebel against the Suicide Squad game, and just play the Batman Arkham series again. It has its flaws, yes, but I still deem the Batman Arkham series as one of the greatest video game series ever made. ScotsThinker signing out.